Shane Warne's return to cricket following his 2003 suspension was much anticipated. He immediately rejoined the Test team, where he took 10 wickets in his comeback game, which also included his 500th Test wicket. He was to have a relentless battle with Sri Lanka's bamboozling off-spinner Muttiah Muralitharan for the world record number of wickets in Test cricket. Murali briefly overtook West Indian Courtney Walsh's mark of 519 scalps, but it was to be a brief sojourn. And it was in Chennai, during the second Test of the 2004 series against India, that Warne took the mantle as the greatest wicket-taker in the history of Test match cricket.
It was typical of Warne that he broke the record in spin-mad India. He did it against a team that he hadn't had a lot of success against in the past. Back in his first Test, Tendulkar and Shastri had smashed him. But this was an important series, an important game on the biggest stage, and Warne came through.
Age would not diminish Warne's hunger for success, and he saved his greatest masterpiece for one of the most eagerly awaited series in cricket's history, the 2005 Ashes.
To me, the thing that shows just how good Warne was in that 2005 Ashes series is that the BBC gave an annual award to the best overseas sporting personality. They could have given it to Roger Federer or Lance Armstrong, but that year they gave it to Warne.
Warne collected an astonishing 40 wickets, as well as 242 runs, but his single-handed heroics weren't enough to carry his country, as England won back the Ashes, ending an 18-year drought. But the series only enhanced the legend.
He's the all-time great. All-time. I mean, I wouldn't, Abdul Qadir was a fine bowler, and I'm sure Richie Bennett was, and I'm sure there are other bowlers. But for somebody to get and do what he's done, to me, he's the all-time great leg spinner.
He came onto the scene towards the end of my cricket captaincy, but the 2 or 3 years I had with Warne was, the most enjoyable I had as a captain, and it was just that variety of attack. But Warne, his coming into the Australian cricket scene, I think has been one of the best things that we've ever experienced.
Yes! Shane Warne's had an enormous impact on the game of cricket, particularly in Australia. He's the best leg spinner I've ever seen. And the thing that I like about the bloke is that he hasn't changed very much. I remember coaching the Australian A team back in the mid-90s, and Shane was an established Test cricketer at that stage. He was the only one of the Australian players at that stage who came to the Australian A team and wished the guys well, and rang up on a couple of occasions and passed messages on via me, because he remembered where he'd come from, and he remembered that he was a young player once and that he'd needed some help. And I think I respected him for that. He's a match winner, and he's created interest in cricket. Some love him, some love to hate him, but they talk about him and they notice him, and that's been good for Australian cricket.
He has mastered a very difficult craft. I mean, I can't even bowl off spin, let alone leg spin. And he's someone who's achieved an amazing record on the field. And I've got a great respect for him on and off the field. He's quite an intimidating bloke when he bustles in, when he's in full flight. But I think I've seen through him. He's quite a softie at heart. I really believe he's a softie at heart. I've seen too many good signs and too many good things from Shane Warne off the field to be intimidated by him on the field. I think I respect his bowling, but I think I see through that bustle and the aggro on the field. He's just too good a person for me to be carried away by it.
I think he's a great sportsman, and to put it in very short and simple, he's a great trier. He doesn't give up, and when somebody plays well, he appreciates, and that's a sign of a great sportsman. I don't need to talk much about Warne because the whole world has seen what he's capable of. He's a great guy, great company, and when it comes to competitiveness, he has that in him, which is a great sign.
My lasting memory of Shane Warne is just a wonderful cricketer, and by the way, a really nice bloke. Shane Warne in an environment around a dinner table, just wonderful company. There will unfortunately be those people who will point to some of his indiscretions, but at the end of the day, those of us lucky enough to have watched him and to have known him, well, all I can say, we're the better for it.
He's a contradictory and controversial figure, but his achievements in cricket and his influence on future generations of bowlers have earned him a place in ESPN's Legends of Cricket.